Okay, next rig. Utilising the Power Stiff in 22. Unbelievable material. The stiff rig's been around, the Hinged Stiff Rig's been around for a long time. I think it's probably made famous by Terry Hearn, but it's one that doesn't get used that much nowadays. So what we're going to do is just show you how to construct it using the Power Stiff. And you can use, the beauty of the Power Stiff is it's thinner than most of the stiff materials on the market. So you can actually use a smaller hook. I think that's a size 8. Basically what we're going to do, just poke through the back of the eye a tag end. You can see the tag end, that's going to form the D-rig. We're literally just going to start winding round the hook shank. I normally do about 7 turns. I don't think it's that critical. And then take it back through the eye. So literally, you've ended up with a knotless knot at the moment. Take your tiny little hook ring and put it on the tag end. Simple as that. Take the tag end and put it through. And you'll see how easy this Power Stiff is to get through the eye of the hook, because quite often they're quite difficult to do. So all you're forming is a little tiny D. Fold the actual hook link out the way, because we're going to chop this down just about where my fingers, top of my fingers, and then blob the bottom part to stop the D-rig coming undone. As you can see, just going to blob it. As it's setting, just push your finger onto the blob, just so we've created, and it will stop the D-ring coming out. And that's the main part of the rig done already. Depending on how high you want, a lot of people fish this about 2 inches high. I don't like pop-ups that high, but you know, they work. But personally, I want it probably about an inch and a half, quite a short sort of pop-up. So I'm putting an overhand loop in the knot I've shown in a few of the other rigs actually, and then we're going to put on the little baby ring swivel, and you're going to put the hook link through the actual ring part, not the actual swivel, but the ring part of the ring swivel. And then we take the tag end, poke it through. And because of the Power Stiff, you're going to pull the little knot down, just so you've got a little tiny loop just to actually poke the tag end back through, and then pull it up quite close to the ring swivel. As you can see, there's not much of a gap there, and that's going to form the tiny little loop we want. Take the Power Stiff, round twice, and then back through the little loop. It's as simple as that. And then pull it down nice and securely. And if you want to make the loop a nice little loop, you can either do it with a pen, or yeah, again I'll use the baiting needle, put it over there, and then pull this part nice and secure. So you end up with a nice tight knot. Trim off your tag end. And there's no need to blob that, because that knot is very, very secure. And as you can see, you've got a lovely, lovely little loop. It's not all twisted. It's a perfect loop for that. And it just gives the rig, once it's on the bottom, flexibility. Whichever angle the fish sucks the bait from, that will turn. So and that's the idea of having these little links here. So you've got a link there and a link there, and it just gives it the flexibility, the movement that you'll need for this particular rig. You know, I mean, that is basically just the chod rig. So you can either use it as a chod rig, or you can tie these up when you get to the lake. If you've got a load of those tied up, that's the most complicated part. The other part is the actual length of the hook link. There's no need to have a loop on this part, because you've got all the flexibility in the actual ring there. Because of the strength of this material, it's just 3 turn blood knot. That's it, that's all you need. Just pull it down slowly, because if you pull it down fast, you will damage the material. You know, it's really strong stuff, but it's not, you know, it's not invincible, and you will put marks in it. So you just pull it down slowly, then really tighten it off. Cut off the tag end again, That's going to form part of the hook link. As you can see, the rig's almost done. Takes very little time to do. I've probably got a bit too much material there. You've got the ring swivel part there. It's not that important to to have a loop this end. You can put a loop in, but you don't need it because you've got the ring part there 3 times round. Wet it down, pull it down just slowly rather than just, and then pull it secure. And that basically is the Hinged Stiff Rig. And all we're going to do is put a bait on there. You put a nice pop-up on there. It's not a bottom bait rig, it is a pop-up. So we're going to secure down with the bait floss, a pop-up. You do 2 loops, one behind each other, and then just back through twice. Through there twice, pull the knot down, and then we've got a sliding loop knot. All you do, take your boilie, and then just gently ease the loop down over the boilie, so it's in the centre of the boilie, going around all around the centre. It's quite a small little pop-up, this one, but you can use it with, you know, you can use this rig with plastic corn, pop-up plastic corn, pop-up maize, or pop-ups that, you know, the bait you're using. Take off the tag end, blob it down a little bit, and then you're ready to tie on. But before we tie that on, what I generally do with this rig is put it through the steaming process, and I'll do that before we put the bait on, and we'll show you how. Okay, right, well basically that's the finished rig. All we're going to go put it through now is the steaming process. Be careful, I mean that's why I'm using 2 baiting needles. Over steam, obvious reasons, you're going to burn yourself. So we're going to actually just steam the main part, just so you end up with a lovely stiff kick out section that's going to kick away from the lead, and then just hold it there nice and tight. You notice I've still got tension on that, just so you get a perfectly straight hook link. That should be dry enough now. You can see how straight that is, and how, you know, I can pick that up. That's as stiff as you're going to get. And that's why the Power Stiff is so good. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. This part is going to be using the rig cone again, because what we're going to do is create like a wivvy style, just a gentle curve in it. And if you'll notice, I'm going to put this one further up the rig cone than I did the last rig. And then, as you can see from that, and all we're going to do is hold that over the steam. Don't pull the loop too hard, because we want that to still remain as a loop. And once that's dried out, we'll leave that to set, just for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever you like. But as long as it sets, we've got a nice little gentle curve, as you can see. That's basically as it's going to sit in the water once we put the bait on. We're going to tie that onto the little ring of the D. It's not too fiddly once you've done a few. It's like anything, you know, if you're starting out carp angling, these are the rigs that the main guys use to catch these big fish. So it's worth, you know, upping your game, learning to tie a few of the complicated rigs, and you will outwit the big carp. Yet again, just a little tiny blob on the. Be careful not to affect the Power Stiff, or get the flame on the Power Stiff. The only thing to put on that, because it's a pop-up, a little bit of putty. You can mould the putty round the knot that's going down on the upright part of the rig. So a little tiny piece of putty. You'll find that the swivel helps keep the bait down anyway, keeps the rig down. Mould it round the knot, and that is ready to cast out, and that will catch you an awful lot of big fish, and that's how it will sit in the water. But you notice how that rig will turn 360, because we've done the loop with the ring swivel. Whatever way the carp touches, because we've put the wivvy style sort of bend in it, it will always flip round in the bottom lip, and then you can see how stiff the Power Stiff is. There's no way that fish is going to deal with that. They won't be able to eject it. It'll catch an awful lot of fish. Like I say, it's nothing new. It's been around for quite a while, and there's quite a few rigs that formulated around that, like you know, like the chod rig. I'd rather use this rig that has got that element of travel rather than a chod that is stuck onto, you know. There's no question the chod works, but I just think this one for me is more my style of rig, and it will catch an awful lot of carp. Hope that one helps.